how does someone develop such intense and authentic confidence over such a life?
Yeah, well, I tell you, Jen, it has been a journey. And thank you again for having me on. And audience, if you have not read Jen's book, you better get it. I bought quite a few of them for Christmas and gave them to friends and family who could use it.
You.
But I was so pleased when I met you, Jen, and I'm glad we have stayed in touch all of this time
Me too.
because I've learned a lot from your book. I learned a lot from you, and I just enjoy your energy and appreciate being with you every
Mm,
time we're together.
you.
But I will tell you on the confidence tip, I was one of the shyest kids ever growing up, and nobody believes that. Even my best friend in the world doesn't believe that. But my family
Mm-mm.
will tell you I was the kid that was really afraid to speak up in
Really?
public. Yes. And to make things even harder for me, I had to wear glasses, prescription glasses in the 5th grade. And we lived in Germany, and all they had was those black GI, issues, one style, one type of glass. So that made me even, more in my shell. But it was crazy because I would get on a stage and dancing act in the background, never
Hmm.
in the front, always in the background because I was so afraid. I thought people, if I spoke up in class or in a group of people, I thought they would see my heart, banging
Mm.
through my chest. And even though I'm a brown skinned girl, I just knew they would be able to see because my face would be burning and I'd have little beads of sweat whenever I was about to speak in
Mhm.
public. And I was so afraid, but I wanted to be much bigger. And when I got to college, I had an experience and I was forced to audition in an amphitheater as part of a class in front of a whole group of people. And I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to burn up and on that stage or drop through the floor or die. And I got through it. And
Wow.
what that taught me is that you can speak like in front of a whole room of people. And it wasn't great, but I got a part and nobody laughed. Nobody
Hmm.
laughed. Nobody was like, oh, look at that girl, and it was standing room only for those auditions. And it changed my life because I actually survived. I survived. And I'm like, all the things that I thought would happen didn't
Mm.
happen. And that made me so passionate about helping other people. And, because public speaking is still one of the biggest fears in the world. And
Which
public
is
speaking
crazy.
is just, that could be just sitting in a conference room with 5 people. It doesn't mean, an amphitheater or anything. It's a
Yes.
terribly tough thing to do if you're a shy kid. And so I started building my confidence and took all of the dancing, singing, acting that I had in me and, raised it up to my voice. And next thing you know, I could speak in front of people. I had started, theater became my passion, and got lead roles and all of that. And then came to LA, tried to
Mhm.
dance, sing, and act my way into, superstardom, and nothing was happening without an agent. And I had a degree in
Mhm.
economics. So I went to a headhunter and she got me an interview at Wells Fargo Bank. And that's how I ended up in financial services. But I never gave up the dancing, singing, acting. And in fact, I have a theater. I have a 90-seat theater and I can dance, sing, act all I want. And, other people can
I
dance.
love that so much. You have your own theater. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do, Karen. So I love what you said about public speaking. It could be in front of 5 people in a boardroom, right? We often think public speaking is on a stage with a microphone with hundreds of people. And yes, that is scary. That's scary to me still, every time I get up there. But it's some folks really have a hard time speaking in front of anyone, getting on
Yeah.
social media, putting yourself out there. So I'm sure some of the tips that you're going to share with us today is about how to do that
Yeah.
in the most authentic way for you,
Yes,
right?
yes, 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 yes.
Because not
So
everybody's a performer, right?
right. Not everybody's a performer, but even if you say you're in your profit committee or your PTA meeting or your church group, I mean, and you want your voice to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
it's so extremely important. And it's not as easy as some people who are adept at it think, right? So yeah, I do have a lot of tips. And in the work that I do, I also have a partner. Her name is Irina Melkumian, and we combine our
I
work.
met
And
her.
You met Irina,
Mhm.
yes. And so she does the, the stress relief, the breath work portion
Mhm.
of our teaching. And then I do the confidence coaching. So we call our seminars catch and release, because you catch your confidence. And then through the breath work and the stress relief, you release any obstacle that is standing in the way of full execution once you
Wow.
become confident. So the work is deep. And I do have, some little tips and tools, but here's what we do when we
Yeah.
really dive into it. I help women understand who the hell you really are beyond that 9.5 by 11 resume, or that even smaller bio that
Mhm.
people force us into, right? And you go out and you
Mhm.
look for a job, or you're on LinkedIn, or you're just presenting yourself, and you're trying so hard. We've tried so hard to fit into that 9.5 by 11 and shrink it to 1 page if possible, no more than a page and a half. And you better make sure you fit the keywords. All the
Right.
keywords, the keywords that we are looking for is not the ones that you have on your resume, because if not, you're not suitable. But see, those keywords don't
Mhm.
tell who we are. I don't care if you have all 10 of the requirements of the job, that doesn't tell who you really are. And so when
Mm.
you're sitting in a conference room and you're feeling marginalized and those little microaggressions are coming at you all day long, if you cannot gird yourself with who you really are down at the core, then that 9.5 by 11 becomes you, and you're
Mhm.
shrunken, you're shrunk, and you just continue to shrink, because nobody wants to know what's really behind Jen Cassetta. How did you
Mhm.
really get to be who you are? And if employers understood what women actually have to go through just to show up every day, they'd be paying them top dollar to come work in their company, because there are so many sides of us, but we
Mm.
forget about them. We forget about them because we're trying so hard to get this degree or that degree and fit into this keyword and this resume and this bio. But that's not what gave you the grit and the guts of who you really are. And women have had to hold this world up from the beginning of time. I don't care if you got a degree. I don't care if you have kids. We are still the nurturers of this damn world. We are
Mm.
badasses. We are
Mhm.
badasses. And that's why I love your book. That's the perfect phrase. And so you need to understand. And what we do in our seminars is we take you through a journey so that
Mm.
you can really remember who the hell you
You
are, damn
are.
it. So when I'm
Yes.
sitting at that conference room table and you're making me feel a little marginalized and a little shrunken, you know what? I'm going to remember who the hell I am, and I'm going to rise. And you may not ever even recognize it, but guess what, buddy? I'm so far over your head. I'm so far up here. I'm going to walk out this conference room
Yeah.
feeling like $1,000,000. I don't care if my point of view was actually recognized. I don't care if I got the W,
Mhm.
because I still remember who the hell I am. And you know what? Y'all can't even understand it.
Okay, do you all see? Do you all understand why you just want some of this, right?